I love this question, which is, what would you do if you weren't afraid? And I love thinking about that when I'm thinking about big life decisions. Like, what would I do if I weren't afraid? And it's usually like the big one, the bigger thing that I really want to do, but I'm afraid to do it. It's like, that's what I should do.
Man would not be man if his dreams did not exceed his grasp.
How committed are you to really do something about your life? It's not knowledge which is the problem. It's not inspiration which is the problem. The problem is that after you have all this information, how are you going to transform it? How are you going to integrate it into your 24-hour day?
If you haven't gotten what you want, then you're not worthy of it, period. And that's okay. Now you can admit that you suck and improve. Better to know you're bad for a season than pretend you're good for a lifetime. Because you're not as good as you think you are. You're not struggling from imposter syndrome. You're a student and pretending to be a teacher.
Understand what the struggle produces. So when you attack something, you realize when you're going through your hardest times and you tell yourself, wait a minute, I have to go through this because it's a part of the process.
You have to do it, and you have to do it now. So stop thinking about it, stop dreaming about it, stop researching every aspect of it, start doing it. That is the first step to make it happen. Get after it, and get after it here and now.
Reminder that if you want to be exceptional, you're going to be different from everyone else. That's what makes you exceptional. You can't fit in and also be exceptional. Both have discomfort. When you fit in, you have internal conflict because you're not being 100% you. When you're exceptional, you have external conflict because everyone sees you as different. Pick one. When your friends start to say, you've changed, remember it's because they don't know how to say, you've grown.
That version of yourself that lives inside of your heart that nobody else even knows about because you're too afraid to talk about it, because you're afraid everybody's gonna laugh at you. That's the thing you're supposed to become. Whatever that is, that's what you're supposed to become. You need to listen to that. If you're going to step out from what you have always been into something new, you have to be prepared to cut all of the old out, because all of the old will constantly be in your ear chirping, making you doubt, making you question, making you slow down, making you hesitate. And all of those qualities will keep you from becoming that thing that you're trying to become.
Talked a little bit about purpose. A lot of that is just working hard to try to be who you say you are. We all project ourselves a certain way, but when rubber hits the road and you look at yourself in the mirror, who are you? And are you living the life that you're telling people you're living?
You gotta be willing to be uncomfortable to get comfortable. You gotta be willing to be scared. You gotta be willing to go into the rooms that people don't wanna go into. And you gotta be willing to deal with the word no for a period of time, because the yeses will come. Make you hold you accountable.
I think it's just giving yourself permission to suck. It's giving yourself permission to be unhappy. It's giving yourself permission to not achieve while you do for a long period of time. It's giving yourself permission to lose friends. It's giving yourself permission to do things that's different than people in your social circle or your age group are doing. Giving yourself permission to be an exception so that you can become exceptional.
If you don't put it into an action plan, get going, that's the key. Some people are ever learning, but they don't put it into action. They don't really take the action. It's like the man who keeps bringing materials to the building site and never builds anything. He keeps bringing in the sand and the gravel and the windows and the doors, and he just stacks up all these supplies, but he never builds anything. You've got to do something with what you've learned. You've got to take action. You've got to get going.
And anything you want good, you can have. So claim it. Work hard to get it. When you get it, reach back. Pull someone else up.
Old saying that there's 3 types of people on a ladder. One at the bottom, one at the middle, and one at the top. Which one is the best to be, the one that's still climbing.
Talking about your goals, and talking about your ambitions, and talking about your dreams, talking about anything. Overthinking is the enemy of executing. As far as I'm concerned, the best way of actually making progress towards them is cutting it down to a day-by-day scale and ensuring that every day your goal is to simply take another step toward it.
Go out there and build something, do something. Do something. So at the end of the day, when they close the book on your story, your chapter has meant something.
Almost all the meaning that you will need to get you through the hard times of your life is going to be a consequence of adopting responsibility, not of rights and impulsive action. But that isn't where you're going to find the meaning that keeps you sustained through the storms of life.
I'm astounded by how many people want to be spectacular in life but also want to be normal. By being normal, you are, by definition, aiming for average. Normal people get normal results. Exceptional people get exceptional results. You literally can't do what everyone else does and expect to not get what everyone else has got. By doing what everyone else does, you guarantee average results.
In order for something new to come, something old must go. And that old can sometimes mean let go of what you know until now. Empty the cup. Start from the beginning.
Do you run away from something? Do you run towards something? Failure is a compelling protagonist towards achieving your goals. Choose failure. Be scared. Be very scared of failure, and you will succeed. There is no magic pill.
One day, or day one. Keep that in your mind. Keep that in your mind if you've been slacking on some kind of something that you want to start doing, and that you know is going to be good for you if you do start.
In your life, in any given moment, the strongest dream in that moment wins that moment. I am a very powerful dreamer.
If you want to attract what you want, you've got to see yourself already with it. You've got to understand that you've already got it. Use your imagination. See yourself already in possession of the good you desire. That will flip your mind onto a specific frequency. It's on that frequency that good you desire is going to start coming toward you, and you will start moving toward it. You've got to see yourself now already with it. And know it's only a period of time until you moving toward it and it moving toward you, and you become one with it.
Someone will save you, but it's you. Future you, the better you, the person that you've been waiting to become.
And you make up your mind to be defined by a vision of the future instead of the memories of the past. All you have to do is make a decision. And you just got to have a clear intent on what you want. And so learn, study, and then begin to dream or begin to build a model of what it could look like, and don't let go of it. And begin to experience the emotions of how you feel when it happens.
The heart of confidence is action. It's the willingness to try. And all you need is to know that if you try, you're not going to die. You're just going to learn something. And when you learn something, it removes a little bit of the insecurity so that it makes it slightly easier to try again.
Projecting yourself forward to see what are the consequences of failing, what are the consequences of stopping, is about as powerful of a motivation strategy as I can think of, Because what you're doing is you're trying to optimize right now to stop the discomfort, but what you're going to pay for that in is shame and guilt and regret long term. So what you need to be able to do is bundle all of that up that is as yet unfelt, but will last for way, way, way longer. You know, the future is much longer than now.
That's right.
The future is going to extend out up until the day that you die. And the now is just for now. And you get to look back. And do you look back with pride and glory? Or do you look back with shame and guilt?
When you don't feel like doing something, like, you do it anyway. You do it because you have to, and you have to do it for your future self. You know, you have to look back. You have to look at yourself in 5, 6, 7 years and be the person that you would want to look back and be proud of, because now what you're doing your future self a favor.
This isn't a game. This is your life. Wake up. It's time to make your life into a highlight reel. You're the main character, not anybody else. Stop thinking this world is against you. You're in control. You get to choose what happens next. The wait is over, because the time is now.
You go higher, you go even more alone. Why? Because nobody is willing anymore to invest their energy in going higher, because it's becoming more difficult. They say, oh, it's already okay here. Why you still want to move up there? The air is getting thinner over there. So that means along this way, the higher you want to go, the more likely you're gonna walk alone. This is the next thing.
You have no fucking idea how great you really are, because you are using such minimal of what you have. Everybody has the ability to do it, but they just don't want to. There's no hacks, bro. It's you against you. The problem is you, and you don't want to fix it.
The hardships, the losses, they make the good times way better.
First of all, everybody, you're never starting over. You're always starting from experience. This is so important for you to understand. Just because you got laid off, just because you've ended a relationship, you're not starting from scratch. You have all the experiences, good and bad, in your life that you can now use to reinvent and reimagine what the next chapter of your life looks like next.
What are you gonna do? How bad do you want it? What are you willing to sacrifice? And what are you willing to give up to find every bit of who you are as a human being?
Delusion is only delusional when you don't accomplish the goal of making your delusions a reality.
Losers let it happen. Winners make it happen. Losers see thunderstorms. Winners see rainbows. Losers see icy streets. Winners put on their ice skates. Losers take chances. Winners make choices. It's all in the way you choose to think.
You might be frustrated, you might be spinning your wheels, you might be ready to quit. But you also might be one day from that one moment.
Every morning, every day of our lives, we have choices to make. You have the choice to stay in bed, to say, forget it, I'm not gonna work out today, or forget it, I'm not gonna work hard today. You always have a choice every single day of your life.
The universe rewards resilience, and the signs of it are all over the world. You just have to know where to look and what to look at. Become that river on that rock. Over time, you can achieve any goal if you stick with it.
Man, you gotta learn how to dig deep in your life. Things are gonna happen in your life. Parents dying, animal dies, a lover, a wife, a good friend. You decide when you don't want to fail anymore. You wake up one morning and go, you know what? These are all things I cannot control.
Doubt is such a strange thing. I mean, it's, there'll be times where you succeed and there are times that you fail. So wasting your time doubting whether you're going to be successful or not is pointless. It is. I mean, you just put one foot in front of the other. You control what you can't control. And then you see what the outcome is. right? If you win, great. You're going to have to wake up the next day and do the journey over again. If you lose, it sucks, but you're going to have to wake up the next day and do the journey all over again anyway.
You're not going to get around the rise and fall and the rise and fall. Endure when it's time to endure. Enjoy when it's time to enjoy. You know, but you're not going to get around the ups and downs of that. It's not because I'm weak. It's not any of that. It's like, that's what life is.
And if you stop right now, all you've done is guarantee that you never reach that moment. When things get hard, it's very easy to question what you're doing. It's very easy to start looking for a new path. It's very easy to quit. And that's why most people do it. No matter how much you're struggling, no matter how long you've been working, keep going.
We're all a work in progress. Growth has no end. Your story is still being written. You're the writer and the narrator. There's no limits to self-improvement because no one can ever truly reach a state of perfection. Everything around us is always changing, and so we must evolve too. Don't ever make the mistake of thinking that you're finished. It doesn't matter how far you still need to go. All that matters is that you're still trying.
It's not just about what do you want. It's especially about what are you willing to sacrifice for this. This is the question. What type of sacrifices are you willing to go through? What type of suffering are you willing to take? And based on that, it determines what can you reach.
If you have a dream, if you have a goal in life that you want to accomplish, I can tell you, hard work, dedication, determination. Take small steps, and sooner or later, they will continue to grow and grow and grow into bigger accomplishments. Believe in yourself, stay strong, stay focused. No matter what, the bad times don't last forever. If someone tells you you can't, you prove to them that you can. If someone fires you from a job, when one door closes, another door opens. Always believe in yourself. Don't try to be like anyone else. Live your ideas to the fullest. And always believe that no matter what happens in your life, it's for a greater purpose.
Like, I can't say this enough. Stop waiting. Do not waste your life waiting, worrying, or wishing for things to change. You gotta want it enough to do the work. Your dreams have a brick path that will get paved every single day, one brick at a time.
How many times have you told yourself you're going to do it? How many times have you told yourself tomorrow? How many times have you told people what you were going to do? You know where all that talking has gotten you? Fucking nowhere. You have not moved the needle once. I know it kind of feels like you're doing it when you talk about doing it, when you think about doing it, when you plan to do it, but the reality is you have not done anything. So when are you going to do it? At what point does the talking stop and the action begin? If it's at any other point than right now, you are not serious. You don't want to do it. You want to keep indulging in the that got you in the position where you want to change instead of just actually changing. Nobody who is that serious about change, knowing how hard it is to change, waits until tomorrow to do it because they don't want to spend another second being anything other than what they could be.
Consistency is having a goal, and when you wake up that day and you don't feel like it, you still do what you told yourself you was gonna do. That's all consistency is. It is the days you don't feel like doing it, and you realize that I am where I am because of other people's sacrifice. I gotta get up and make it happen, even though I don't wanna get up and make it happen.
Make your future dream a present fact by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So whatever it is that you would like to experience in your life, you must be able to feel it. So live in the feeling of being the one you want to be, and that you shall be. Every feeling makes a subconscious impression. And unless it is counteracted by a more powerful feeling of an opposite nature, it must be expressed.
Greatest people on the planet have suffered the most. Suffering is not bad. I'm suggesting suffering is awesome. The ego runs from suffering because it's the death of the ego. But I believe pain, difficult times, failure, loss is purification and preparation for personal heroism.
You are not your losses. One misstep doesn't define who you are. If you've lost or failed, so what? Stop being the victim. Feeling sorry for yourself isn't going to get you any closer to your goal. It's not a loss if you learn something. So take accountability for the damage that was done and just keep moving forward.
Sometimes the biggest fear you have is that you failed, you made too many mistakes. And as a result of making too many mistakes, that you don't deserve a second chance. You don't have to end this life with regret. You don't have to sit at your bedside and wonder what could have been. You can change right now. You can change the direction of your life. You can change the direction of every relationship. But it begins with your relationship with you.
Your presence on this planet is no accident, and you are absolutely here for a purpose. You've been given a gift. It's your genius, and it's intended to bring joy to your life and to lift the lives of those around you.
I want you to understand this. If you want to bring out the best in others, start with the mirror. So many people are trying to persuade others, trying to influence others, trying to bring out the best in others, but they're not starting with themselves. It all starts with you. It starts there because when you bring out the best in you, you are very contagious.
If a person would sit down and let their body relax, totally relax, and then start to visualize in their mind, see themselves the way they want to see themselves. See how you'd like to live your life. See yourself living it that way. Okay. Now understand that that's a picture in your mind. When you pick up a book, the book is nothing but a picture that an author has painted in words. Dream my painting, and then I paint my dream. We become what we think about. Now, it may be fantasy at first. It might even appear to us as being a lie. But if you read it often enough, you'll start to believe it.
Listen to me, man. You have a great life in front of you, but your great life is in front of you. It's not behind you.
You must come to peace and come to terms with everything that you've ever faced. There are things that have fortified a different aspect of your life because of trauma that happened as a child. You've got to be willing to let go of that, and so you can embrace the adult that you are now. You cannot get rescued by anyone but you. Because if other people grab and reach in and try to pull you out, you'll defend the small child you were that was taken advantage of. But if you can look into your past and look at your life and realize that the times you were most vulnerable and there was no one there to protect you, that was not a time where you were made a victim. That was a time where you became victorious.
You embrace the challenge. It's a test. It's a way to prove yourself. It's a way to toughen yourself up. We can compare the attitude to the aperture of a lens. When you are fearful, that aperture tends to close down, giving you a narrow perspective on the world. If you take in less, you have less to fear. But as your mind closes down, you miss seeing opportunities and coming up with new ideas. But if that lens opens up and expands, suddenly you can see all kinds of combinations and connections out there in the world that nobody else is seeing because of their fearful, closed lens, the way they're looking at the world. In this case, the chaos of the world is not something to fear, but something to exploit. This is the source of all creative thinking.
That's why you got to work on yourself. Because life will send you some curves you cannot anticipate. Whatever you do, you want to develop technical mastery. You want to be the best at what you do. You want to master it. See, part of self-motivation is you've got to find something that gives you a strong sense of competence. When you become known for that, you develop a reputation of being good at doing that. You set some high personal standards for yourself. You're not competing with anybody else. You're just unfolding yourself to be the best person that you could be.
I've looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I am about to do today? And whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. Because almost everything, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. There is no reason not to follow your heart.
This is the instinct that says, you've had enough. This is the instinct that says, you've given it your best shot. You can stand down. You can back off. You can take a knee. This is the instinct that says, you can rest now. Do not listen to that instinct. Do not listen. That instinct is a liar and wants to bring you down. That's the instinct that's a defense mechanism. It wants to give you an out, a place to run to, a little place of sympathy.
You see, the path that you're on is up to you. Put one foot in front of the other and start marching. Start chasing down what can be. Stop looking behind you. You are evolved. Those are in your past. And there is nothing you need. There's a period at the end of that chapter. But this chapter, this is your comeback year. This is your comeback moment. This is when you get up. This is your moment in Rocky when you've been knocked down 10 times, but you still won't quit. This is where you get up and you fight, and you'll get up before the count of 10. You're not a quitter. You're the winner.
Imagine that you're in a movie, and imagine the movie begins now. And you're the hero of the movie. What would that guy do? What would that guy do right now? Because you are.
People struggle to do things alone. And the path of the exceptional person is one of an exception, which means that you are not with other people.
Don't let other people tell you what you can and can't do. If you feel like you should do it, go for it. Life's not perfect. Not everything has to work out, but the window of opportunity is getting smaller every day. Nobody sees the world like you see it. So just do what feels right today and worry about the rest tomorrow.
We all get exactly the same amount of time. Exactly. Now here's something interesting. The sand in the bottom of the glass represents the past. The sand in the top of the glass represents the future. You have no idea what's in the top of the glass. You only know what's in the bottom of the glass. The only thing we've got anything to do with is what's right here in the center right now. Everything else is an illusion. It's a myth. It's gone. If we want to enjoy more of life, we've got to give everything we've got right now.
It's not what happens that determines your future. It's what you do about what happens. Direction determines destination.
When you make mistakes, they add up. They add up. One mistake compounds and leads to another, which leads to another, and they can lead you to a downward spiral of destruction. Here's the thing. You know what else adds up? The positive things. The good moves. The small sacrifices that you make to do things right. So put in the daily effort. Let that be your reward. Reward yourself. Feel gratification from knowing that you moved the needle, even just a little bit. And whatever it is you want to do isn't going to happen in one day. You have work to do.
You cannot change your life unless you go inside first, you figure out who you are, what your own wisdom is telling you to do, and you start to actually believe it and follow it.
I think when you're on the start path, you can't look at the outcome as the only positive because you will never make it. The positive frame that I've always used is thinking about who I was becoming as the asset that I was building. So in real time, whenever I finished a long day's work, I was becoming more like the type of person who could work for 5 years without reward. And that would be part of the story I would someday tell.
Let's say you want something really bad, and you keep trying, and you keep trying, and you keep trying, and on the 10th try, you don't get it still. And then you say, okay, it must be a sign that I need to stop doing what I need to do. But what if you didn't know that on your 11th try, you would have made it. You would have made it happen and got what you wanted to get. So I feel like persistence is important because if you really truly love something and you truly believe, you should just do it for the love, and you don't get to where you're going, you still are doing something you love. So
visualize it, but also feel it. Like feel yourself there. Close your eyes, smile to yourself, and feel yourself there. And believe me when I say you can manifest that.
The only people that criticize you for trying to be exceptional are those that have already accepted the fact that they're going to be mediocre forever. They look at you trying to better your life as an attack on them because they know they're not doing what they should be doing. They know they're not trying as hard as they can, and they know that they should be a much better version of themselves than they are. You and I both know that you're just trying to better yourself and it has nothing to do with them, but they don't see it that way. They feel they have to defend themselves because they see you doing something they know they should be doing. So when they make comments or make fun of you or try to make it seem like it's about them, understand that it is about them. It's about how they feel about themselves, and that is not your problem.
When's it gonna be? When is it gonna be that you are finally not full of shit? Make the change that you need to make. Become the person you need to become. This is about becoming a person that can control their external environment and make decisions that serve them no matter how hard those decisions might be, no matter how inconvenient those decisions might be. That's the only way you're going to solve this problem long term.
Kobe Bryant was not interested in winning championships. He was obsessed. And obsession comes in the small details that nobody pays attention to.
Don't listen to people that are going to tell you that you can't do it. Don't listen to haters. Don't listen to naysayers. Don't listen to people that give you advice that tell you to slow down or you shouldn't do it or you can't do it or the time's not right or any of those other things. Those are dream stealers. They were sent to you to see if you'll overcome them. They were sent to you to test your resiliency. And if you can overcome that, if you just discard all of that stuff and you get clear on those other things, you've got a really good chance of doing something great with your life. And just remember what you were put here to do. You're not a mistake. You're not here by an accident. You were born to do something great with your life. You were born to make a difference with your life. This is a fact.
Most people wonder why they don't get the opportunity. Coach, why won't you put me in the game? Why won't you give me an opportunity? The reason why is because the word give. No one is going to give it to you. Whatever it is you want in life, you have to desire it more than you want anything. You got to believe that it's your birthright. You got to be hungry. You got to look at everyone as competition and welcome and embrace the fact that you must fight for it. If it's given to you, you will think of it as some kind of entitlement. But if you battle for it, it's a victory. It's earned.
Because in the absence of purpose, fulfillment, significance, we kind of feel like every day is Groundhog Day. Every day is a day where I'm not really moving forward. I don't have a sense of purpose. There's this like low undertone of anxiety and depression and overwhelm. And you just feel like you don't really matter. And that is not the best way to live as a human, man. I'm telling you that right now. Like, we are put on this planet. You are put on this planet to do something big, to do something great, to impact lives, to be an agent of change. How does a man win at life over and over again when another man continues to struggle and just has these failures to launch? Well, it's simple. It's the athlete mindset versus the spectator mindset.
Begin. This is where it begins. In the darkness. Before the sun and the birds and the world every day. When the alarm sounds, it's time. Rise. Despite fatigue and soreness, curse the warmth of the bed. Curse the comfort of the pillow. Fight the temptation of weakness. Get up and go. Do it quickly, without thought. Do not reason with weakness. You cannot. You must only take action. Get up and go.
And then the one shows up. The one. One person changes the family tree forever. In my family, I'm the one. And it wasn't because I wanted it or I hoped for it. I fought for it. I want to win. I want to fight for my family. I want my mom and dad proud of me. I want my kids proud of me. I want me proud of me. I want to look in the mirror and be happy with the man I look back at. That he gave it everything, that he went for it.
Extraordinary accomplishments come from doing ordinary things for extraordinary periods of time. Working out and doing reps is not extraordinary. It's the fact that you do it for 20 straight years. Nothing about that is extraordinary. It's the dedication to doing it over and over and over and over again, despite feeling like there's better opportunities, despite people approaching you with new and exciting things, but saying that you're committed to the original vision you had, and that, not the action itself, but your commitment to the action is what makes someone extraordinary, not the thing itself. And to me, that made being extraordinary possible.
At some point, you're going to have the courage. At some point, you're going to have the confidence. And it's total bullshit. And so there are so many people in the world, and you know, you may be watching this right now, and you have these incredible ideas, and what you think is missing is motivation. And that's not true. Because the way that our minds are wired, and the fact about human beings is that we are not designed to do things that are uncomfortable or scary or difficult. Our brains are designed to protect us from those things because our brains are trying to keep us alive. And in order to change, in order to build a business, in order to be the best parent, the best spouse, to do all those things that you know you want to do with your life, with your work, with your dreams, you're going to have to do things that are difficult, uncertain, or scary.
Decision-making is the force that shapes destiny. How many of you can think of the decisions that you made years ago, 1 or 2 decisions, 5, 10, 15 years ago? That decision, you may not have realized it at the time, but that decision was one of the most important decisions of your life. If you'd made a different decision there, you've gone a different direction, your life would be completely different today.
You've got to decide in this life whether you want to be entitled or you want to earn it. If it's entitlement you're looking for, you'll never be remembered in history. You'll be the person that could have been, should have been, and could have been if somebody had given you. But you don't have a right to be given anything. Earn it. Take it. Take control of your life. Take dominion.
I don't care how good you are in anything. You don't have discipline. You ain't nobody.
The reason most people fail is because they give up what they want most for what they want now.
If you're going through a really hard time, the dark days eventually pass and clear away, and the sun comes back. And so whatever you're going through, know that this is temporary and that soon the sun is going to come out again.
There's a time to be born and there's a time to die. So I want you to know you're going to die and there's nothing you can do about it. But what I would hope that you would do is I hope you would live.
I gotta say, no matter how hard it may be, no matter how impossible it may seem, no matter how much this year sucks, I'm still gonna get the greatest me out of this. I'm still gonna step up to the plate. And some of you right now are thinking tomorrow. You know how many people said tomorrow that took their talents to the grave?
And I say that the reason that we don't even explore the possibility of what to do is because subconsciously we don't believe that it can happen for us, and we don't believe that we deserve it. So here's what I'm suggesting. How much time do you spend working on you? How much time do you spend every day working on your dream?
There is work that must be done beyond what people see. People see your check, they see the car you drive, they see the house you own, but what they don't see is when you're staying up and putting in 16 hours of work now so that you can relax and enjoy later. You see, hard work is how you get anything. And anything you get without hard work has no value.
No matter what you face, no matter how bad it is going to be, when there is a challenge, and by a challenge I mean anything in life, any challenge, anything that you're facing, the only way to overcome the challenges that you face is to start walking.
The price of progress is pain. The price of progress is pain.
2024 is not going to be any different than 2023 if you're no different in 2024 than you were in 2023. Things do not get better because of a new year. They get better because of a new you. You don't just change a calendar page. You don't just change a date. You have to change you. The date doesn't mean nothing. You can be as bad today as you were yesterday. You can be as unhappy today as you were yesterday, regardless of what the date on the calendar is. Determine what it is need to be changed. Determine what it is you're going to replace that with.
If there's something inside of you that you don't like, a behavior, an emotion, a thought, it's not you. There's nothing wrong with you. It's a pattern. And we can develop patterns and do them so often that we think we're our patterns. It's just a habit of thinking, habit of motion. It's a pattern. And you can change any pattern when you stop thinking there's something wrong with you.
You're going to lose sleep. You'll doubt whether it'll work. You'll stress to make ends meet. You won't finish your to-do list. You'll wonder whether you made the right call and have no way to know for years. This is what hard feels like, and that's okay. Everything worth doing is hard, and the more worth doing it is, the harder it is. The greater the payoff, the greater the hardship. If it's hard, good. It means no one else will do it. More for you.
Oh man, your struggle is what made you who you are now. Your life was basically the perfect grounds for training for where you need to go in your life. You have these tools. You were training for this stuff, man. You have the advantage of everybody else. It was the absolute perfect training ground for you to go to where you need to go.
Embrace the labels they put on you. People might call you obsessed. Let them. First they'll ask you why, then they'll ask you how. It's only crazy until it's not. Your progress will be a direct reflection of your hard work. Stay true to your beliefs, make self-improvement a priority, and just keep going.
You know in fact, in your mind, yeah, I should probably be doing it. And then you don't do it anymore. You just cheat yourself. If you got something that you want, what is stopping you from getting it? You got to realize that you're in complete control, right? You're behind the wheel every fucking day.
Never going to be able to understand how your mind works if you don't spend any time in it. If you want to make long-term change, you have to learn how your mind tries to stop you from doing it. Your mind doesn't want you to change. It wants you to stay where you're at. It wants you to stay comfortable. So when you get uncomfortable, it starts telling you lies. It says, this is dangerous, you're tired, you're injured, something's wrong. But the problem is you never get to know that it's bullshit, because the minute you get uncomfortable, you start hearing that voice and you start listening to it and you run away from it. You have to live within that resistance. You have to get comfortable in that resistance. That moment right there is the only moment where you can learn how to master your mind. Because if you want to master it, you have to understand it. And you can't understand it if you don't put it to the test.
Don't sink the ship right now. Just keep your head above water. Maintain, just try and hold on.
And hopefully give yourself a chance to notice the magic, the mystical.
Self-doubt grows when you engage in negative talk to talk yourself out of the things you want to be trying. There is so much pain in talking yourself out of trying things. And it just makes me so sad and frustrated to see so many of you that are listening, really feeling this desire to try something and putting all your energy into talking yourself out of it.
I want to remind you that where you are in life right now is not who you are, okay? Who you were has created the life that you're living right now, but who you are is a different version of yourself. You have felt pain. You have learned lessons, hopefully. You have gone through things that previous self didn't know or hadn't experienced. And now you are equipped with a different perspective, with different skills, and a better understanding of what decisions need to be made to change the outcome that you are currently living in.
Sometimes you have to get away from certain people and things to actually start believing in you, to actually start knowing who you are, to get clear on your visions, clear on your dreams and your goals in life, you know? And sometimes that takes isolation, you know, but so often we strip ourselves from the gifts of that isolation because we're so focused on how lonely we are. We're so focused on how we don't have anybody to relate to. We're so focused on how we just feel like nobody's there for us. What if that time you can be using to get clear on who you are, to get clear on the things that you want to do, to get clear on your goals, you know, to start believing in yourself, to start having a real relationship with yourself.
Think that everything the mind tells you, I need to follow. That means freedom. No, for us, it's the other way around. To learn and not follow what the mind tells you. This is the first step towards freedom.